Let's face it, if you're getting ready for the PMP exam, you've got a boatload of content. First of all, you've got this 756-page book of fun, but then you've got to unravel all of the different facets that connect to the book that are not in the book. There's actually a lot of stuff on the exam that is not covered in enough detail here. It's buried like landmines all throughout the book, but to find it and join it and make sense of it takes a long time. Take, for example, this process, develop project charter. Do you know how much stuff is in the project charter and how it is interconnected to all the other processes? It's quite a significant document. That's one of the things that we're going to be going through. So at pmanonymous.com, if you feel you need help for your exam, go on down to pmanonymous.com and check out what we have to help you in the coming week. All of this stuff in the project charter, there's so much of it, it takes time to cover. And that's just one of the processes of integration, not to mention the develop project management plan process, not to mention direct and manage project work, which has 3 unique outputs. There are so many different pieces of this that I'm going to have to unpack for you. Go on down to PM Anonymous and check out what I'm talking about. Manage project knowledge is the next one. A lot of stuff, and integration is just one of the areas we're going to be covering in next week's special boot camp. It's a special boot camp that focuses on the most troublesome areas of the exam. That's right. I'm talking about the 63% that is so ominous and very difficult to grab your arms around. I'm not talking about the formulas this time. That has its own place in a different boot camp. But this is the crisp factor. What do I mean by crisp? Let's take a look. Let's go to the whiteboard. I want to show you a thing or two regarding your exam that you may not have thought about. Think about the crisp factor. What do I mean by this? Communications, resources, integration, stakeholder, and procurement. Think about these processes for a second. Now, I'm going to show you in economies of scale, based on the current PMP exam content outline, the amount of volume in each one of these. So when you think about communications, you have one in planning, one in executing, one in monitoring and controlling, right? You have a process in those 3 areas. When you think about resources, you have 2 in planning, 3 in executing, and 1 in monitoring and controlling. Now, let me show you how these are going to scale up. This could be 1%, right? 1% of the exam. This could be 1% of the exam. This could be 3%, manage communications, monitor communications, let's say 2%. Resources, you've got 3 times 3, 9% of your exam. Monitoring and controlling, let's say 2% of your exam. You see how it's adding up? What about integration? Well, integration is a very, very dangerous knowledge area. Why do I say it's dangerous? Take a look. You've got 1 in initiating. That's already on its own 6.5%, pretty much, right? Planning, let's say 1%. Executing, you've got 2, let's say 6%. Monitoring and controlling, you've got 2, let's say 4%. And closing, you've got 1, which carries 7%. Think about that. Now let's add up these numbers. This gives you 6% here. This gives you 12% here already. You see how it's all stacking up? And right here in integration, 7 plus 4, 11, plus 6, 17, 18, you got like 24.5% from integration alone. When you do the same for stakeholder, you do the same for procurement, you're going to get initiating, planning, executing, and monitoring and controlling for stakeholders. That's going to be roughly 6.5. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 3. And this is going to be 2. Add them all up. What do you get? 7.5, 10.5, 12.5%, possibly. You see all these numbers? Last but not least, procurement, you got planning, executing, monitoring, and controlling, just like communications. So you got 1%, 3%, and 2%. You add them all up, what do you get? 6. Add up all the numbers. 6 plus 12, 18. Let's add this other 6 over here. That's 24. Let's add this. That's 48.5. 48.5 plus 12.5. This 12.5. What do you get? At least 60%, and I'm being kind of conservative here, 60% of your exam could come from these areas. So a boot camp such as this focuses on, first of all, integration. As you can see, I mean, I'm not even done showing you the processes of integration, and this is just an opening. This is just an intro. Close project or phase could be 7% of the exam. Just think about these things. A lot of volume, and we do need to cover it. And that's why in next week's bootcamp at pmanonymous.com, we are covering the crisp factor. If you have been struggling with these areas, my friends, I want to encourage you to go on down to pmanonymous.com. I want to encourage you to sign up for the training. I'm going to show you how to get there. It's pmanonymous.com. When you get to PM Anonymous, boom, you get to the page, read all the information, sign up. The class is almost full. If I were you, I'd do this like yesterday because the seats are not going to stick around for much longer. All right. It starts on the 1st of September, Tuesday. So you still got time. Tuesday. We're going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to knock out all of these areas: communications, resources, integration, stakeholder, procurement. We're going to knock them all out. You might have been struggling, but this is a great opportunity for you to have a coach who's going to break down the entire thing, break it down so that all of those gaps that you have found, either by taking the PMP mock exam, the PMI mock exam for the PMP, or other mock exams, all those gaps, we are going to close those gaps. I'm going to be showing you a few examples. You know, that PMI mock exam, we're going to break down a few of those annoying examples. Some of you have taken that mock exam and you wonder, what on earth, how did they get this? We're going to be breaking some of those questions down. I'm going to be showing you some tricks so that by the time you get into the exam, you'll feel comfortable, you'll feel calm. You would have seen stuff like this before. Just a few days ago, one of my students said, Phil, I'm so grateful for your classes. I found 3 questions, pretty much a cutout of what you had talked about before. Pretty much the same question exactly. So by the time we get done next week, my friends, we're really, really going to be covering a lot of content. All right. Don't forget the website is pmanonymous.com. Or if you're already on the Praizion site, you will find a link to the course there. All right. And if you have any questions about what exactly we are going to be talking about beyond just telling you what it is at this level, feel free to put some comments below. Okay. Let's generate some interest regarding the exam, especially since September is coming. And why do I keep talking about September? Because once September hits, there's a mad rush and it's hard for you to find any space, you know, to take this exam. So I really want to encourage you, those of you who have been putting it on the back burner, maybe this is the final big push for you. It's the big push to get you from where you are to where you need to be. Okay. pmanonymous.com. I look forward to seeing you in the class. Take care and bye for now.